Hi, I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Rihanna, and welcome back to Fresh Off the Broke.
Fresh Off the Broke is about personal experiences growing up Asian American in a predominantly white community, Asian media, and Asian pop culture in general. Race has always been a sensitive topic. Every day, there are debates over race. With our podcast, we intend to shed light on the experiences of first generation Asian immigrants, not put them on a pedestal.
We understand that race isn't everything, but there should be an acknowledgement of people of color, the knowledge gap, and the racial divide that will ideally be broken. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the episode. Today we're going to be discussing the model minority myth.
Okay, Rihanna, do you want to give them a brief explanation on what that means?
Yes, because I also do not know exactly what that means.
Exposing yourself, okay.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm educating
That's
myself.
what we're all about here. We're honest people.
Yes. Sometimes too honest, but that's fine.
Oh.
Okay, this is also just an FYI. This is from Teaching Tolerance, the website, I guess. Okay, so
I like the name.
the myth of the model minority is based in stereotypes. It perpetuates a narrative in which Asian American children are whiz kids or musical geniuses. Within the myth of the model minority, tiger moms force children to work harder and be better than everyone else, while nerdy dads hold prestigious but not leadership positions in STEM industries like medicine and accounting.
Yikes. Wait, yikes. That was,
It's
but
too
not
real.
leadership. Yikes.
But like, how accurate is that? It's too accurate.
It really is accurate. I mean, I only know quite a small handful of people whose parents actually like own companies or stuff like that. But
Yeah.
that's not the same thing, you know? Because they never mind.
Oh, my dad sneezed.
Your nerd dad with
Literally, yes. It's like real. It hurts. It physically hurts. Okay, maybe we should saying how we actually. I know this is supposed to be the stereotype and it's the myth, but the fact that that like explained my family.
entire childhood.
Yeah. Okay. Should we explain how? Okay, I'm.
I'm
Should I
gonna see if I can go on with what you were saying.
just the tiger mom thing? I have a tiger mom because I just do, and my dad nerdy, yes. STEM industry, yes. He used to be, he worked in an electrician company or something. So
Oh yeah.
it's just weird how accurate that is. Whiz kids are musical geniuses. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Um, for me, my mom, I want to say that she's like the type of tiger mom that's like, "Oh, I'm not a tiger mom. I'm nice. I'm understanding. I'm,"
Nope.
but you know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where it's like, uh,
Yeah.
like what you say to your kid is different from what you say to other people.
Yep.
It's
False.
like, "Oh, I'll like I'll get yelled at for something, but then if she's talking to your friend, she's like, you know what? I don't think it's right to shame your kids for getting a slightly lower mark than they usually get. That's not good on their mental health. It stresses them out.
Oh
You know,
my.
that's the type of person she is. And
Yeah.
then my dad, he isn't nerdy in the like tech computer sense. My dad sucks with computers. His brothers are really tech savvy though, like with computers and stuff. But my dad used to work in print production, so he was like somewhat in that type of like skilled trades kind of industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
How did your parents do in school?
Well, I know my dad was like, I'm trying to not say dad so loud because he's literally in the other
Dad,
room.
are you
My dad,
talking about me?
yes, he he was like a, I keep saying like, and I'm trying not to, but it's so hard. He was basically a prodigy when he was a kid. He's smart. Like, oh, I said it again, but he's smart, and I can't deny
Yeah.
that because even as a kid, you know how when you play with your kids or like younger siblings or family members, you usually want to go easy on them because it's like, oh,
Oh
they're
my
just
god.
young, they can't win anyways. Yeah, no, my dad didn't do that. He, whenever we
My
played
parents
chess,
did
he
that
beat
better.
me in two moves. It's like,
Yeah.
just let me live, bro. I'm four.
I agree with the idea of playing honestly, but I disagree with the idea of playing like hard.
Yeah,
Because then there's nothing in it for the kid, you know what I mean? Like, and
yeah,
I don't think that was what he was trying to do, because I don't know what he was thinking at the time. But I feel that there's some people, not necessarily your dad, that do stuff like that just so they can feel smart.
yeah. It's very, it's so easy to boost your ego while doing stuff like that, but at the same time, you're playing against a child.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've heard from my aunts and the like, not that my her his actual sisters, but his brothers and brother-in-law, that when he
Okay.
was really young, and his brother-in-law would come to just visit the house in the Philippines, they would play
Hmm.
chess, and my dad would win when he was maybe 7, and then my well, his brother-in-law and my uncle's like 20. So there's not really anything happening there. And this isn't a flex. This is like a please help me. No, it's not. This is just like
This is when
can't.
like the honesty really comes out.
Yeah, I can't not. I can't lie because yeah, he is smart. And sadly, I got a lot of my mom's genes when it comes to schooling.
Oh, oh.
It's
Was your
not.
mom bad? I don't want to use the word bad because that's like putting
Yeah,
down your mom. That's not
I,
what I'm trying to do.
it's more of she was your average kid. It was fine. Like we compare marks now because
Chemistry.
it's yeah. So basically,
Please.
my mom said she threatened. She goes, "You better not get a lower than an 80 in chemistry because I always talk about failing chemistry because I hate chemistry." And I go, "Mom, what was your mark in chemistry?" She goes, "Oh, 79." So we were laughing at her, and then I asked her again, or I brought it up again, and she goes, "Actually, it was a 77." I'm just like, wow, okay, I see how this is. But
I
like,
feel
what about you?
like most. I was gonna say that I feel like most people wouldn't clarify that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they would want to keep
Yeah.
it the higher number.
I mean, it's more of like a she is my mother, so she can say whatever, and I'll laugh. And even though I'll laugh, it doesn't change anything because she's my mom, and she's still gonna have
Right.
that highest standard on me. So yeah,
Okay, so
what about you?
uh, how about you? With my parents, just like a light disclaimer, what during the time that they grew up in China, studying or like education in general, it wasn't a priority because of the war and stuff. That not to be dark, but because
Yeah,
of the war. And so they didn't really get to continue their studies into post secondary and stuff like that. And so my dad, growing up, apparently he was a prodigy. He This is a really weird flex, like genuinely odd, but he got into some prestigious kindergarten. I
well,
don't know how you audition a child for a prestigious kindergarten, and I don't know what the criteria is for a prestigious kindergarten, but he got into the best kindergarten in
fair.
his area. And education aside, my dad is, I would say, really smart and good with what's the word? Good with like good with designing, good with stuff like that. My dad usually fixes everything in our house.
Me too.
Yeah, like that Asian dad.
Yeah.
It's like why waste money?
Yeah. Why waste money when I can fix everything myself?
And my dad is also really into history, stuff like that,
Mm,
culture. Like this is specific to China since that's where he was from, and
mm.
he's an immigrant. And also he finds Canadian history boring, but there really isn't much.
Yeah.
Aside from like
Stealing land.
exactly, exactly.
Being basically like jerks. Anyways.
Whoa. And then that's kind of it for my dad. Oh, actually, one time when I was talking about trigonometry, he said that there was a period of time when he taught himself trigonometry because he was intrigued by it. Because my dad's that type of guy, like because he's really interested in tech stuff. When I say tech, I mean more STEM kind of renovation, engineering, things like that.
Yeah.
I guess yeah, that's it for my dad. And then for my mom, my during my mom's time when she was growing up, education was even less of a priority. So
Mm.
she had less of an education than my dad. Oh, something I should bring up. This is really interesting. But growing up, because like I said, the war, education wasn't a priority. My mom actually couldn't go to kindergarten, and they let her older brother go to kindergarten since financial problem. And
Mm.
my mom was taken care of by her grandmother, and her older brother. Emphasis on the male. He
Yeah.
got to go to kindergarten, she didn't, and that was something that she was jealous of. That's less of a model minority myth thing. That's just more of background on whatever.
The
So
reality.
I don't really have the dark reality. I don't
Yeah.
really have much to say on her education since there isn't really much to talk about. But my mom's really smart in terms of stuff like in terms of language.
Mm.
Because in Chinese, you know how you can't just look at a word and know what it is.
Yeah.
It's all strokes and stuff. My mom knows a lot of words. I know that sounds like a strange sentence to say, but for a Chinese person, if you know a lot of words, that's considered really impressive, and you're considered cultured. And
Yeah.
so she's really good. She was not strong in math or science, not just because she didn't learn it in school. She said that she's terrible at it. And I mean, I guess I believe her. Aside from the general expectation that you have to know how to do mental math, both my parents can do mental math because
Yeah.
they kind of had to. My mom's really good at language, culture, history, stuff like that. For example, oh, she's really good with poetry. When I say poetry, I don't mean coming up with poetry. I mean, because in China, there's a huge emphasis on knowing stuff about your culture.
Yeah.
And so it's impressive if you know a lot of poems, idioms, stuff like that. It's
Mm.
a lot of Chinese people, especially, I want to say, quote unquote, more intelligent Chinese people, when
Mm-hmm.
they talk, they'll throw in idioms because
Oh.
that's what they do. It's not. It's kind of almost like when you say, "Oh wow, it's raining cats and dogs." It's used as casually as that. People throw in idioms. It makes them sound smart, and also it's kind of just a part of the culture. People like comparing things and being metaphorical.
Dang.
Yeah,
What a couple
that's it.
hours. That was.
My mom randomly teaches me idioms. She's just like, "Hey, do you know what this is?" And I say no, and she's like, "Stupid, no, no, no." And then she tells me, and then I have to remember for next time.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Dang. Okay. So,
On a lighter note,
well, not really. Now we're talking about us personally.
yeah.
Do you have any stories of when the model minority myth was used on you?
Where do I start?
Okay, wait. Actually, first, I think we should specify why this isn't a good thing to be talking about.
Oh yeah, of course. Then
Because
yeah.
right now it's just like, oh, well, what's the big deal? You guys are typically seen as smart. Well, there's more to it.
I
There
love
is.
the way you said that. There's more to it.
There is.
Do you want to start or?
um, well, okay. Back on the website,
Yeah.
let me see what this is. Um, I don't really know where to start. Well, first of all, it completely what's the word I'm looking for? It completely when you're not given credit when credit is due.
Erasing?
Pardon?
Oh, are you trying to say it erases your effort, or are you thinking of something more complicated?
Well, like you know how it's like, well, you're Asian, so you should be getting those grades.
Oh,
Well,
discredit?
yes, people discredit you. Thank you.
This is a relationship, guys.
It really is. People discredit you for all your hard work because of your race, because
Mhm.
very typically it's, oh my gosh, I finally got 100 on my test, and it you just get a backup with, well, you should be getting that because you're Asian. It's like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know that we're human also, right? You know that we
yeah.
literally sit at home and cry while studying because of this, right?
Ah, too real,
State
too
fact.
real. And people be crying down in the comment section.
No.
No, our comment section is dry.
Yeah. Oh well.
I actually have a really short story about what you just said. In grade 10, so last year in my math class, it was the beginning of the year, so my teacher didn't know me really well yet. And so her style of teaching would be she would give us the homework and then she would start a lesson, and if you already understood the lesson and you didn't need extra help, you could start on the homework without having to wait. And that's what I usually did. And wait, yeah, that's what I usually did. I was trying to see if that was a grammatically correct sentence. And I'd finish early. And I think it was the first or second class that I had with her. And when I told her that I already finished, she said something along the lines of, I'm not surprised. I kind of expected that from you. And I didn't really know how to respond. I kind of did that awkward, haha, smile thing. But
Yikes.
c- clearly there was some sort of implication.
Yeah. Even if people don't realize what they're saying, it always comes off as a backhanded, like, I expected that.
Yeah.
It's just and this was in
Oh,
math.
yes, math class.
Okay, that makes the most sense in my mind.
Oh, another thing from her. So here in Ontario, there's a math contest run by Waterloo.
Oh
I'm
God.
just explaining it for people that might not be from where we're from.
Yeah.
And so every year there are these math contest competitions that students can participate in, and it's well, there's multiple kinds. There's the kind where it's a problem and then the answers are in multiple choice form, and you pick one. But then there's also the ones where it's a full solution. I won't get into too much detail. But so last year, I got second place in our grade. And
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
I, what do you mean you didn't know that? I told you this.
Grade 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I know you told me this, but I forgot. But also,
it's
congratulations.
okay. Thank you. Uh, she didn't make a comment about me getting second place, but she made a comment about my score. She was saying how she thought I would score higher.
Oh God.
And it was, I don't know, it was really awkward because uh she she was proud of me because I was the only person in my class that did the contest, or I was of the 3 or 5 people that did it. And she was like, "Hey guys, you want to hear what Tiffany got on the thing?" I genuinely thought that I did it horrible, and I thought she was doing that really mean thing where it's like, "Oh, Tiffany got like 77 out of 77th place out of 77 people."
Oh my god.
Like, see, guys, this is when we learn from our mistakes. I was genuinely terrified. I didn't know what she was gonna do. Not important. But just, I don't know. The thing was like, oh, I expected that you finish homework early, and then I thought that you would get a higher score. I thought maybe you would get more points.
Mm.
There's just those weird backhanded compliments.
Yeah, it's like, was that supposed to make me feel better?
I know, right?
Um, I didn't. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what she looks like.
My
Anyways, yes.
she doesn't she I can talk to you about this later, but she doesn't look like a mean person. She's looks like what's the word? She's white, but she's not your average. I want to say I shouldn't have said the word average because now this is getting into a different territory. But she's a nice teacher, and I believe she's German. I don't think that helps in any way.
Mm.
You understand? But she's the one. She's the teacher that talks in a monotone voice.
Oh.
So Rihanna, do you have a story, or I mean multiple? I guess given that it's impossible for you to only have one.
Well, first,
Well,
the first one that we were discussing earlier off podcast was about my English teacher in also the 10th grade. So
there's a
one
pattern.
day, yeah, really, there is. Maybe the first week or the first day of class, it's my English teacher. I said that, but I forgot already.
It's a clarification.
Yes, yes, my English teacher. Oh, also just one thing. She was very what's the word? I don't know words. She was very specific when she talked about herself. She was always saying, "My name is Miss whatever, and I have African American heritage." She was very, very she always pushed that, when people are literally 1/8 of race, that gives them a little bit more
Oh,
leeway than normal, you know?
yeah,
You know those people?
yeah.
She was literally like 1/8 black, and she was very, I am 1/8 African American. And well, yeah, it's good to be proud of, you know, your
Yeah,
culture. And even though if it's a small part, but it's just nowadays there's a lot of people who are problematic who say that because it's like, I'm 1/8 this, so I can say this.
yeah, I get that.
Yes. So, anyways, we were talking about stereotypes, I believe,
Mhm.
and little microaggressions that we face on a day-to-day life. And she was asking for volunteers on who wanted to share, and majority of my class was, white. I think actually, like the two people, well, the people who spoke the most that weren't white kids, like there were a couple other kids that were people of color, but they didn't really speak in class discussions. It was only two girls, which is me and my friend who is fully black. So I raised my hand. Obviously, I wanted to speak because I
You're
know
right.
what I'm talking about, kind of, when it comes to microaggressions. And I said, "Oh, um, a lot of people discredit me for my work or my grades and what I do because I'm Asian. So if I were to get a good mark on something or if I were to do well on a project, people would always say, "Oh, but that's because you're Asian."
Of
And
course.
I was saying that it made me feel bad because I worked hard on that, yet I was completely shut down because that's what's expected of me based on my looks and my background. And my teacher, she said, oh, so sometimes racial stereotyping isn't always a bad thing because they're saying that you're smart. And I'm like, what? Did you just listen to my explanation of why that makes me feel bad and how detrimental that is to someone's mental health? Because that's just what's expected of them. Oh my gosh. It's very hard to just sit there and hear that and not be able to say anything because you're the only Asian girl in the class and the teacher, bless her heart, but she doesn't know. I don't think she knew what she was saying. But also in that English class, this is kind of funny. So we we were reading The Kite Runner.
You were reading what?
The Kite Runner.
Oh yeah.
And I think we were talking about terrorism and or something like that. And the teacher, what's it called? Assistant teacher.
Student teacher?
Yes, student teacher. The student teacher was saying, oh, so what are different ways that the government can, deal with terrorism? And one girl raises her hand. Let me just say yes. Yes, she was. And
I remember. I think you told me this before.
She goes, what if, I'm being completely serious, what if terrorists, we just get people to talk to them, like a therapist or something? And the whole class goes silent, and I turn around, and I'm thinking, did this girl really just say, talk to therapists? Get terrorists, therapists, and it'll solve world peace? She thought she had made it, like, a point. She was so, like, wait, guys, I'm being serious. Why don't we talk to them? Like, seriously talk to them. And the student teacher just goes, does anyone want to explain why that doesn't work? And some other kid was...
Did she really say that?
Yeah, she said that. And some kid raised his hand, but he was too mad for his point to get across to the girl. So I raised my hand, and I was, like, very simplest terms, I was like, I think that if they're terrorists and killing people, that therapy won't work on them. And she goes, yeah, you're right. And that was it.
Yeah.
And
I think you got a point.
If that doesn't sum up my experience in that English classroom, being shut down on the first day and then having to listen to that class discussion, then yeah.
I'm in pain.
It was so funny, dude. But yeah.
Brianna, have anyone ever asked you a question, for example, do you play piano, stuff like that? And then when you say yes, they're like, oh, and then you see it in their eyes that they're like, makes sense.
Yep.
Or when you say something along the lines of a stereotype, and they're like, oh, really? And then the eyes.
Yeah. I mean, oh my god, my voice. That happens way too many times for me to even think of an example because it's so like normal at this point.
What if we list things instead of coming up with a specific event? Or, I mean, thinking of a specific event.
Well, first of all, people ask if I play piano, and well, this is a little bit different for me because I taught myself well, not really. I taught myself through watching YouTube videos how to play piano or different songs.
Oh, I love watching them.
Yeah, like synth. I don't know how to say it.
Oh wait, that one?
Like when it's like a screen with a piano and the bars come down.
Oh, a synthesizer.
Yes, those. I taught myself how to play different songs by using those.
Yeah.
I don't take piano lessons, but even though I explain that, it's always, oh, that makes sense. Or
Yeah.
how come I knew that?
Mm.
How
Uh,
with musical instruments?
Musical instrument for me it's the same. This okay. I can play the flute, but I don't think that's really a stereotype because usually people think of violin and piano. And I did teach myself how to play the piano, similar to how you taught yourself how to play the piano
Mm-hmm.
with a synthesizer. Although I know the basic chords and stuff like that, but some songs that I like, I can't find the sheet music for it, so I just use the synthesizer.
Mm.
But when people ask, it's the same thing, you know. You say, "Oh, I mean, kind of," because you did teach yourself.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just in our eyes, it's different because it really is. But
Yeah.
for them, it's still the piano.
Yeah. It's still ooh, Asian girl play piano. Ooh.
Ooh, hey, that was bad. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, I feel like um especially well, first of all, I don't really look Filipino, so people don't assume it anyways. But for Filipinos, it's very stereotypical for them to either play piano, be really, really good at singing, which I wish I could, but I wish. Or like play ukulele, something like that, play basketball, or dance, which I am in the dance category.
Yeah. Wait, what? Isn't this at least in those Asian videos or those accounts on Instagram? There's this one song. I think it's called. Hold on.
You
Lemon.
and the rainbow, something, smile, something. Ukulele?
Yeah, it's it's the one where it's "She's My Sunshine."
Yes, that.
Is that one
Yes,
called Lemon or is that one called something else?
I am
It
not
doesn't
sure,
matter.
but I know what you mean. Like every single Filipino kid knows how to play that on ukulele. Actually, where's my uke? Yes, I
Oh my
have a
God, can you do it? Oh, it's
oh,
called Lemonade.
she's my sunshine in the rain. She's my Tylenol when I'm in pain.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, stop.
of course. And the name by Jeremy Passion. I'm very uncultured. Yes, he's Filipino. Wait,
That's
is
an
he?
interesting last name. Passion. What's another stereotype? Oh, art, drawing. Isn't that a thing?
Oh,
A lot
yes.
of East A a lot of actually now that I think about it, is it a stereotype for other Asians to know how to draw or is it just East Asians? Because I know that across the board it's a stereotype for the Asians to be good at math.
Yep.
But drawing, I don't think that's the entirety of Asia.
Um, maybe it's different because I also grew up in a lot of like in a oh my god, in an environment with a lot of like Southeast Asian or South Asian people,
Mhm.
and I feel like a lot of them could draw, but maybe that's because I'm thinking of my abacus program, like the beads, the one that the penguins of Madagascar, you know that thing? I did a program with that, and there was a lot of like literal prodigy kids that were South Asian that were drawing full on portraits.
I'm sorry, but that sentence just there, my abacus class.
Stop. Yes, I took. It's basically like Kumon less helpful.
I
Basically.
can't. My abacus class.
Imagine being in like the first grade, not even kindergarten, and having a 2 hour a week class of just straight math on a little dinky thing. It's so
We
bad.
had an well, not we. My cousins they had an abacus. I don't think they knew how to use it. I don't know why they had one. I maybe they thought it was a toy.
It
I
does look
thought it
like a
was a
toy.
toy.
Yeah. Bro, I used to be so good
I
at
wish
it.
you could teach me how to use that, but you don't know how to do it anymore.
No, I do. It's just my mental math is so bad. It's
You need to
because
show me how to do it one day.
yes, I will. I definitely will. It's actually fun when you're not in a class with a teacher yelling at you, circling your answers, being like, "That's wrong. What's wrong with you? That's wrong." You know?
Yeah. I'm getting flashbacks. Please stop.
Yeah. It's all. Oh my gosh, this is a whole nother thing. Like tutoring, Kumon stuff like that,
Uh,
or being the tutor.
this is more specific to Chinese people, but Chinese school.
Mm. Or like language
Uh,
school.
yeah. It's just that the reason why I said it was Chinese specific is because a lot of my friends that are not non-Chinese, but they're also Asian, I asked them if their parents ever made them go to a language class, and they said no. So I wasn't sure if that was maybe more just certain ethnicities were more bent on making you learn the language at a school.
Yeah.
I know some people that went to Japanese school.
Yeah, our friend goes to there, right?
Uh, if you're talking about who I think you're talking about, she volunteers there. But
Oh.
there's another Japanese person we know. I don't know if you know her as well, but she goes to Japanese school. Not the same one as the other friend.
Mm. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is so vague,
Okay.
but I know what you're talking about.
Let's try to save you the effort of bleeping things out.
So yeah.
Um.
Oh, we were talking about art.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something I want to add. Do you want to go on?
In terms of art, it's always the stereotypical, oh, you do art? Do you draw manga? Did you
Oh
get
my god. Is that anime?
yeah, is that anime? It's like no, I'm just drawing a person and I'm an Asian girl. What is your problem?
Oh, anime. People, do people assume that you like anime because you're
Uh,
Asian?
yes, because okay, before I didn't watch it at all. So I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I don't watch it. Why are you assuming that? But now I'm literally watching every.
Are you really gonna expose?
Yes, because it's a problem and I it's so good. Like all the
What's
ones
it,
that I didn't
Rihanna?
watch when I was a kid, I'm watching now and really enjoying it.
Get the relive. Well, not relive, but you get the childhood you finally deserve.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's a whole nother episode. Ha ha ha. What about
Oh, okay.
you?
What? Excuse me. I am done. I noticed that actually. I mean, I know that there's different types of art lessons, but the ones that Asian parents usually make their kids go into are realism classes.
Oh yeah. It's never
And
like
then,
cartoons because they
yeah.
always assume that you draw cartoons on your own.
Yeah.
Like cartoons are for kids. Realism is for my 4-year-old that just picked up a pencil, you know?
That was really good. That was really good. It's, and then there's people that complain about uh, Asians being good at math or Asians being good at art. And it's a really weird, I don't want to say situation, but it's just a strange topic
Yeah,
to talk about.
because at the same time, like, well, you can't. I mean, oh, I don't even know where to start.
I love how most of this episode is us being stressed out.
I know.
This is the reality behind Model Minority Myth Guide.
Yeah, because there's always that fear of like, I need to do this or I need to fit in with. what
Yeah.
people associate with me with because it's such a high standard. Like for example, I have a friend who you know, she is from China, but she was adopted when she was a baby.
Okay.
So she's always like, and people always tell me, "Oh, I thought you would be smart at math or good at math because you're Asian," but she was adopted by white people. So like she's in applied math and she's getting not even a pass, like not even a 50.
Oh.
So that's just like proof that people just assume, even though if you know her, you know that she's not the smartest person in the room. So
Oh God.
it's true. I know this is so mean, but like she knows it. It's true. I'm
Does
definitely
she
gonna cut that
like
out.
math at all?
No, it's not that she cares. Like you know those people who
I'm trying to like give her a redemption point. This isn't
oh
working.
well she doesn't really care. So if she doesn't care, then
I guess it shows.
yeah, like if she wanted to work and try, then I she probably could. Anyway, so but as I was saying, like that's just an example of she's Asian. People assume, but she doesn't live to the stereotype, so people always make fun
Yeah.
of her for that. But then on the flip side, it's always, oh, you're the smart Asian girl. Of course you're good at math. Of course you have a 90 something in math. Blah blah blah. Either way, you lose.
Yeah, really. And there's a lot of stress that comes with that. Like what you were saying. I whenever I get a unsatisfactory math mark or a mark in general, I feel like I'm more stressed out about it than
Other kids.
I don't want to say a normal person. That doesn't make any sense. Than someone else would. And I don't mean because my idea of a low mark is higher than other people. That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But it just because I'm expected to do that well. It's kind of similar to how, celebrities, they feel like they have to keep an image up.
Yeah.
And then when they mess up, it's, oh, you're ruining your image.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to not give into the I give up mindset,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's so hard to just keep up having good grades. And I feel like if I didn't have the same mindset that I do now, I would be satisfied with what I have in my classes, but that's just not how I was raised. So I'm not happy with my grades, even though they're perfectly fine. You know?
Are they though? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Like,
I am
if
kidding.
we both took a step back and looked at our grades, we're doing well in other people's eyes, but in our mind, it's like we're doing fine, borderline not fine. You know?
That's really I can't, it's hard for me to agree with you. Not because I disagree with you. That's just it's hard.
I know.
It's really hard, Rihanna.
It's hard to tell myself that my 80 is fine, even though that is an
But is
A.
it though?
No.
Because here's the thing. Right now, I'm actually really unhappy with my mark. Part of it has to do with the teachers that I have this year
Mm.
because I some of my teachers kind of sabotage me, my life drawing teacher who lost all my work and gave me a 56.
That's so stupid.
That when I talked to her about that, she didn't even care really. She was saying stuff along the lines of, I mean, she did a Paul. No, she didn't. I'm not saving her here. She didn't apologize. She was annoyed with me actually. she was saying how that mark wasn't permanent, but just the fact that I had a piece of paper with my name on it with a 50, actually I think it was a 58. I would have to pull out my report card.
Either
But
way.
either way, that is not just the idea of having a piece of paper with my name on it with a 50 something on it. That it hurt me.
Yeah.
It physically hurt me. And she did not understand that. I was trying to be nice and not yell at her in front of the entire class because it was a work period. And so everyone probably already heard what I was saying. But it was one of those situations where I was calm mad, you know what I mean? Everything I was saying was really serious.
Damn. People just have the same experience as us, especially going home. I think, well, one of the biggest parts about why we want good marks is because of our parents.
Yeah, Rihanna and I actually have an inside joke where at least in the classes that we have together, when we get a test back or a quiz back or just marks back in general, we'll ask each other if we're allowed to have dinner that night.
Bro, and every time it's always no.
Oh my god, stop.
It's true though. The only time was the time on your was it your graphics this year?
What are you talking about?
Didn't you get like a 100 on one of your exams?
That was the English exam.
Oh, okay. That. And then how I got a 99 on my dance exam.
Yeah.
Like that was like we were both saying, "Oh, we get dinner." But other
Yeah.
than that, we have not had dinner this whole school year. But yeah,
It's hard.
people don't get the whole I can't bring this home because you don't know what will happen.
It's weird because last year I had higher marks
Yeah, me too.
and it has nothing to do with my work ethic. My work ethics haven't changed. And I don't think my understanding has really changed of anything. I hate the idea of blaming a sole person for my own failure. That sounds so dark. And this isn't for every class, but for two specific classes, maybe three. Actually, let me think about it. French. Actually, graphics. My graphics mark isn't low, but my teacher messed it up a lot. And then life drawing, and then chemistry. Those are the four classes where I feel like I was sabotaged.
I mean, I'm on your side on this, so I can't really. Yeah. It's always, and teachers just don't understand why we're so upset about everything. Because I know my IAPS teacher, I'm lucky because for some reason he likes me and he gives me good marks.
Oh,
But so he's
congrats.
our friend has him for English, and she went from getting like 80s and 90s to 70s
Oh my god.
because that's just the type of guy. Like you know how they say 70 is the average.
Yes.
So he'll make you write a whole essay and be like 70. It was good. But that no. And he was telling my
I
class,
would not survive in there.
yeah, he was telling my IAPS class um that grades don't define you and that a 70 is fine and maybe your standards for yourself are just too high. And in my mind, no, you don't. No. Like that's not how it
That's
works.
so encouraging.
Yeah,
Imagine saying that to your students.
I know.
In a,
Imagine
I
saying that you should be striving for 80s, but just know that you're going to get a 70 because that's how I mark.
isn't there that one quote where they say something shoot for the moon and then like landing among the stars or something? Let me look that up for a sec.
Yeah, it's if you aim for the moon or something and you still fail, you'll land among the stars. Blah blah blah.
Shoot for the moon. Oh, hold on, I got it. Shoot for the moon. quote. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Yeah, that's what it was.
Some BS right there.
Oh, going back to what we were saying about not getting the marks that we wanted or feeling pressured to do better.
Mm-hmm.
You know how at the end of the year in schools they have awards for different subjects?
Oh yeah, like in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel? How was your experience with that?
Oh my god. Okay, wait. I'm gonna
That's
sound really
crying.
pressed. This is gonna sound really pressed, but this is just what my experience is. So when I was younger, like young, grade 2 or grade 1 or something, I would win like math awards
Okay.
or the character trait of the month, and it would always be responsibility. That's the one I would get. But
Wait,
then,
you guys had subject awards in elementary school too?
that was when I was in Catholic school.
But still,
So I think in
the
Catholic
thing?
school, what they do, they don't do character traits. They just do subject. Well, at
Oh,
least when I was in Catholic school, which was literally 10. I'm not gonna age myself here. Well, it's obvious, like 10 years ago, something like that. I don't know.
okay.
So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So in 8th grade for graduation, that's when we did like the French and English award, or the President Award, or the oh, there was one, the Academic Award, right?
What? Is that for an overall, oh wait, an all around kind of person?
So that was, it should have been, right?
Oh
That's
no.
I'm still salty about. Well, I'm not, but I am, but I'm not. So the Academic
It's
Award.
okay. This is a welcoming environment. Fresh off the broke man.
Yeah, it was supposed to be for someone who's like done a lot of things, yet their grades are still good. And I was feeling good about that year because that year we had a robotics club that I basically, okay, this is gonna sound so bad, but I did a lot of the work, okay?
Uh,
I wasn't coding the robot, but I was doing all the other work basically. So there was that. And then
hey,
we
she a
did like
tech
this.
like her dad.
We were doing this other thing for a competition where we had to submit a video. It's a long story, but I edited the whole thing. um, what else? And let's just say like my grades were fine, right? And the teacher's pet won, right? So she won, and she was like my closest friend in middle school, so I was happy for her. But because we were so close, I knew that my average was higher. And she was in the same things as me, but it was pretty obvious who's, oh my god, this sounds so bad, and I'm not this type of person, but it's just this topic makes me so mad. I did a lot of the work and she didn't do as much as me, or
Okay.
like she
I
didn't
understand. I
contribute
understand.
as much,
Yeah.
which is not a bad thing. Like she was still part of those teams. She was still a main asset to those things. But I really tried to take like a step up because I'm not a leadership person. Well,
Hmm.
but I really tried to start building those skills.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, I didn't, get acknowledged for anything because I didn't play into the teacher's little games because he was very, those charismatic teachers. But yeah, so our teacher, one of our teachers at our school currently, he's very, one of those teachers who, he'll like you if you play into his little games,
Yeah.
which sounds so creepy, which it is because I'm pretty sure he's some sort of offender of some sort. But
Oh God.
my teacher in 8th grade wasn't like that, but he was the wholesome version of that. even though it
The
was
wholesome version of an offender.
no, I mean he was the charismatic side. He was the cool teacher, but he would
Yeah.
pick on people, and I didn't I didn't like that, so I wasn't always playing along with him,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously annoyed him. But I still got good grades, and I didn't get the academic award. So yeah. How about you?
Oh. Uh, I'm gonna say something that's similar to the academic award,
mm.
except I wasn't friends with this person.
Oh
She was not like that. They
no,
were
no, no!
just
I know.
colleagues than me, okay? She was the most popular white girl at her school. She got the principal's award, and she was one of those people that joined a lot of clubs but never participated.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm talking about? The kind of people that join clubs to say that they're in club.
Yeah.
And she was a huge teacher's pet, but she was a teacher's pet in the way where it was so sneaky, and it was so strange because she breathed and the teacher liked her.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not saying that I'm jealous, but I kind of want to know what she did. Because she wasn't the kind of teacher's pet where it was like, "Oh, I like your hair today," blah blah blah, or "How was your weekend?" It was just she breathed. It was so strange. It was
Straight up just
so
bias.
strange. Yeah. And oh my god, in 8th grade, I was in her class in grade 7 and grade 8, not in grade 6, but in grade 8, when she was absent one day, my teacher was like, "Oh, I missed insert name of person,"
Oh my gosh.
and she was saying just like, the class just isn't the same without her.
Oh my.
Okay, we'll just all go home. We'll just all go home.
We can just not be this class. You know, it
Yeah,
can just be a one-on-one with that chick.
just be you and her. But for me, we didn't have academic awards in elementary school. We had the character traits award, but then in middle school we had academic awards, and then your average, not average, your typical graduation awards, athlete of the year, stuff like that. Even though I'm lucky that I got those awards, and to be completely honest, it was really hard.
Yeah.
It was almost painfully painfully difficult for me to have any of my teachers look at me,
Mm.
look at my way or anything, because uh we mentioned this in previous episodes, but I went to a all white school, specifically all Greek school, and even though I was like uh, even though I was like the top student in my class, my teacher would always be like, "Whom? Did you guys
Yeah.
hear something? Did you guys see something?" And I remember this is a tangent, but in grade 6, I had a question marked wrong on my science test. So it was already 100% because of the bonus question, but the question that was marked incorrect, had it had been fixed, then it would be over 100. And my teacher made fun of me, but honestly, I was kind of annoyed just because even though I'm sure he didn't mark my test or quiz wrong on purpose, just the fact that he was like, "Oh, like this is what you're complaining about." Yes, because you don't look at me. You don't. If it was someone else, it'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." But then it's me. You're like, "Really?
Yeah.
You're complaining about this?" And in grade 6, I never got a character trait award, even though
Damn.
I was involved in all these things. And also, I was one of those kids that had to help my classmates with homework. You
Oh
know,
my
you know what I'm
gosh.
talking about?
Yes. I was also one of those kids.
Uh,
They always
it's
pick the Asian kids, I swear.
I wonder why.
I know.
Do you think it has anything to do with
Hmm.
No,
No,
it
but
can't. It
it's
can't.
always like, what's the word? Whenever, even if it's a bonus question and you already got 100, the teacher is always like, "Oh, why are you fighting for more? You already got perfect." It's like, I worked for that. Why are
Yeah.
you not letting me get what I worked for?
Mhm.
Because if you think that's good enough, I did all that extra work for nothing, you know?
Yeah.
It's just ugh, why?
In our I've complained to you about a lot about my past grade 8 teacher,
Mhm.
but in grade 8 it was just one of those things. No, that year was the year where it was so obvious that I was a good student and that I was getting better grades than everyone in my class. But my teacher
Mhm.
always yelled at me for the strangest things.
Oh my god.
It was, uh, and it was so weird because she was really fake about it. And it would be one of those things where you'd be like, "Oh, Tiffany, you never do anything. You should talk during class so I can yell at you." That was like her sense of humor. She would say that to other people too.
Oh my god.
But one time, I've told you this before, but when we were doing drama class,
Mhm.
we were doing a icebreaker game kind of group activity, and we had these. I don't want to say construction paper, but we had something like construction paper laid on the floor, and she asked me to move it to the side because it was uneven. And there were students that were standing on top of it because we were originally going to start the game, right?
Yeah.
But then she was like, "Oh, Tiffany, can you move that?" Okay, I will. And so I walked over, and then I asked the guy that was standing on top of the paper to move.
Yeah.
And then she started yelling at me.
Oh my god.
She was yelling at me and saying things like, "Tiffany, do I have to tell you in front of the entire class to not talk while I'm talking?"
Oh
Because
my.
what was happening was she was giving instructions for the game, and then she told me to move it. And okay, maybe I could have moved it without telling him to move. I could have gestured, but he was one of those types of people where he doesn't pay attention. And so
Yeah.
if I were to walk up to him and signal for him to move, he'd be like, "What?" You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I told him, and he was gonna move, and then she started yelling at me.
Oh my god.
And when we would get back to school from field trips, my mom would ask me to give her a call. And everyone else in my class was on Snapchat, like obviously on Snapchat. I don't mean doing it under the desk. They were on Snapchat filming each other, laughing. But me, the one that was on the phone with my mother, in the corner, was yelled at in front of the entire class for using my phone.
Oh my god.
And she went on this whole thing being like, "I don't understand why you guys must use your phone." And she also kind of dug a little too deep when she started talking about how she didn't understand why my mom needed me to call her.
Oh my gosh.
It was I was so upset that one time. I needed some alone time after that. One of my friends at the time, not that sounded so shady. We're not friends
Oh.
anymore. But she was Greek and she was also one of my teacher's favorites.
Mm.
She was on her phone and I was sitting next to her after that ordeal, and she was she was laughing at something on her phone and she was trying to show me, and I was so done with my teacher because she would just attack me at random that I told my friend that she shouldn't show me that because I don't know if the teacher's gonna yell at me.
Mm.
And then my friend was telling me that I was overreacting, and I was like, okay.
I don't think so.
I think someone else is overreacting. It was, oh, and this is similar to your story about your friend, but my friend, she was really interested in visual arts,
Mm.
but she never handed anything in. But she had, not only did she have the Greek card, her older sister used to be in my teacher's class, and so my teacher was best friend. They're probably still best friends because I'm pretty sure they still contact each other because during high school applications, her mom personally emailed her the documents, even though usually you just bring them to your teacher yourself.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And she ended up getting the visual arts award, even though she never handed in any of the art assignments.
Oh my god.
It was, you know,
Yeah.
and
It's like if you
even
don't
if
have connections, you just
sorry,
sorry, I just completely cut you off. Um, wait. Continue.
no, I was done.
Oh,
It's
I was
okay.
just gonna say like if you don't have connections, you basically don't mean anything.
Yeah, yeah, I can't say anything about that, and I don't know how to bring this. I don't know how to bring this mood back up.
I know. Just that's it is what it is, I
It really
guess.
it is what it is, and I feel like we don't necessarily have to, and we're not obligated to bring the mood back up, because this is
Yeah.
this is a reality. This is
Yeah.
like there's people that are listening to this right now, if there are any people listening to this, that deal with these things, and that's how it is. It's not always, oh well, you know what? On the bright side, at least this happened, or on the bright side, at least. Why is there always an at least?
Yeah. Just
For example, uh, hold on, I'm gonna look this up. But many months ago, I saw on the news that an Asian student at a flight school in the United States. You saw me post this on my Instagram, but
oh yeah.
uh, let me look it up. I saw this on Nextshark. Shout out to Nextshark because I love Nextshark. Okay, so trigger warning. This is a bit of a more sensitive topic. But the headline was Chinese flight student commits suicide due to alleged. I don't know. I don't know why they wrote that. Alleged racial discrimination at Texas school,
Oh my god.
and it was. Looked more into the story, and people were just relentlessly going at him, making fun of him, making his life complete hell. And then, so when he takes his life, you guys are gonna be surprised because your face.
I
You know what I
know.
mean?
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it did not need to happen.
Yeah.
And I kind of ranted on my story. I was saying how this is what happened when you normalize racist behavior because,
Yeah.
not to be dramatic, that could have been me.
Yeah.
People
No,
that have
I
gone
get
to,
it.
or, like that could have been you, that could have been any other Asian student. And I hope that people that read these stories, there's no way that when you read a story like this, there's not a person in the back of your head that you're thinking of,
Yeah.
unless you're just ignorant. Because people that have gone to school with me growing up, like maybe not in our high school because it doesn't really happen,
Mm.
which we're lucky for in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say that it never happens, but people have seen this happen, and I have talked to teachers about it, saying that, oh, so and so has been calling me things every single day, and even though I'm not crying about it, it's something that should be addressed. Just
Yeah.
because I'm not crying about it doesn't mean that someone else won't. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that someone else won't do something more serious. Even if it's something that people think is light, like the model minority myth, that can drive someone insane.
Yeah. Especially if you hear it from birth until, you know,
You know.
Because
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that are so normalized to the point where people don't see it as a problem, and it fully is, and it fully is, like what you said, driving people insane. And it's not like we need to do something, but obviously you can't change society thinks about people.
But you
That's
know
just
what?
the reality.
Yeah. But you know what? At least we got this conversation going, you know?
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is, you know? We start we open up the conversation.
Yeah. Well, what can we
Two
do?
Asian girls ranting.
Yeah.
But
But like,
sometimes that's what you need.
yeah. What else would we be able to do to start something about this? We
Yeah,
can't do anything, basically.
it's not a type of situation where, for example, save the trees, donate to this.
Yeah.
It's
Because
not that. It's not that type of problem.
it's not straight up like, if you need more trees, plant more trees.
Exactly.
It's a whole mindset that,
God, the
oh
whole
my god.
mind.
But honestly, like, it's gonna take a long time in order for this to get slowly erased, because we're only first gen.
Yeah.
And I know that there are people who have been here like for generations, and they are still seen by people as an Asian person, or any other race for that matter. But it's still like, we're first gen.
Yeah.
We have so many more generations in order for this to be integrated into society, you know?
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, even if we can't solve it today because that's not how it works,
Yeah.
it's good to talk about it because, for example, uh, I don't know if this is gonna get all wholesome or whatever, but sometimes Brianna and I have these conversations about things like this, and I know that there's people out there that feel that way, but it's just nice to hear that someone else went through something that I went through, and they
Yeah.
realize that recognize that it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because all my life I've been told, but you know, it's fine. Why
Yeah.
why why are you so mad? All he did was make a joke. Why are you getting triggered?
But yeah, like when we always have a little talks, like before school starts in the stairwell. Well, now we have a nice good friend with us who sits there.
And listen.
Yeah. But he like, sometimes when we talk about things, you can see him like laughing with us.
Yeah, and so it's kind of funny when he's shocked because he's not Asian, he's white, but I don't know. It's it's nice to get that type of perspective because
Yeah.
he like I don't know his background. When I say background, I don't mean race. I mean his story.
Yeah.
It seems like he's never seen stuff like that growing up, and so when we talk about it and he's shocked, you know, it's nice.
Yeah.
This was a good talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
enthusiastic. But like, it was.
The most enthusiastic you'll hear us in this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we can wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay,
This.
this was heavy. Thank you for tuning in today. Leave a comment down below about your own experiences with the model minority myth, what you think of the model minority myth, how people around you have treated you. You know, that sounds so, but that's just how it is, you know?
Yeah. Or
You're,
maybe like you have a different experience with the model minority myth, and
yeah, if this was shocking, let us know.
you just
If it was eye-opening,
yeah. Jeez.
eye-opening.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Did you get it?
Yes, I do get it. Wait, I just want to say, because you said eye-opening, every time my dance teacher says, open your eyes, I literally look at her and say, I cannot. They don't get any bigger than this. Miss, please.
Wait, but why do you need to open your eyes?
Because
To look
eyes
more
show your
enthusiastic?
expression. It shows that you're awake. Well, miss, I don't look like I'm awake, okay? So,
I'm not awake.
bro. Okay.
Please don't let our comment section be dry. Do it for me only.
If you want to find out more about us, we can be found on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, all under Fresh Off the Broke. No spaces and no caps.
No.
No cap. Follow us for more behind the scene content, announcements, and other random things we decide to put on there.
We're more positive on our social media than we are in this podcast. If that's something you're concerned about. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.